I don't want to make an assumption, like a blanket assumption over all Nigerians, but generally speaking, as Nigerians, I know how we've grown up, especially in the UK. Our parents have come over here. They want us to do certain things as they know it, as this is the quote unquote road to succeed in this life.
100%.
I'm going to say, with all due respect, you have come off that road, especially the fact you're telling me you have a law degree. Like, I knew you went to uni. I didn't know what you studied. But with a law degree, massive congratulations, by the way.
Thanks, man. Thank
I have friends that, I know they sweated to get that. They're still doing like, masters and things like that.
Yeah.
You've come off the road that many would have thought, like, what are your parents letting you do? Come off this road to become a wrestler of all things. Like, when did you first think, okay, I'm going to become a wrestler? And how does that conversation go down in the household?
So when I first thought it, I had a match with Ryan Smile, and I had the flu going into that. Yeah, rest in peace, man. I had the flu going into that match, but like I kind of insisted on doing it, and that match was terrible. It was so bad. He kept like doing his best to try and like get me through it, and I just couldn't because I was freaking dying. And
this was your first match ever?
No. Okay. This was like a few months in.
Okay.
Even though I was fully fit, I don't think I would have been able to do that well. I don't think I was ready for it. But like, I had that match with him, and then we got backstage, and I was like, "Oh, he's gonna tear me a new one. He's gonna chew me out." And like, he didn't. He was just like, put his arm around me, and he was just like, "Okay, here's what you need. Like, you need moves. You need to change your gear, and we need to talk." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So in front of everyone, I was like, "Okay, this is where it comes. This is where he takes my head off." And he was just like, "Here's what you need to do to be better at wrestling." And I was like, and he didn't have a single bad word to say, not privately nor publicly. And I was like, if someone as good as Ryan Smile can have a match with me where I was flipping terrible and still say that he sees something, I'm like, maybe there's something there. And then like from there, like my attitude kind of changed. I was kind of casual towards wrestling. But then after that match, like I started training more. Like it didn't last long, but I did start going to the gym. Hate the gym, but like I started going to the gym. Shortly after that, I discovered like New Japan, and I was like, "Oh wow, this is the style of wrestling that I want to do," and stuff like that. And during all that time, I was working at a law firm. I was paralegaling, so I'd finished my law degree. I'd done the postgrad stuff, been called to the bar, so on and so forth. So I was paralegaling, still trying to get a pupillage, which is like the year-long thing where you're like a mini barrister, basically. Yeah. And during that time, I spoke to a promoter who had booked me against Rene Dupree. And that match went fine. Rene's great as well. I love him. But like that match went well. And we were at a bar, and he was just like, "I'm not going to lie to you. You could become a wrestler. You could also be a lawyer, but you cannot do both." And I was like, he's not wrong. he's not wrong. And as you know, with the Nigerian, with the Africans, bro, you know how we are with our parents, and it's sort of like, you will do this and you will do, and it's so. I said to him, I sat down, I was just like, here's the thing, right? I've done everything that you've asked. I did A-levels, I went to uni, I've been called to the bar, you've got the paper. I don't have the certificates, my dad's got them. Like after we come home from each graduation, he takes them and he's just like, yeah, and I never see him again. So he's got them somewhere, you know what I mean? Like it means more to him. It means more to him than it does to me. I've not seen them since I've finished. Man didn't even get them framed. They're somewhere in his wardrobe, somewhere in it. Like
collector's item.
You know what I mean? But I'm there like, I've done everything you've asked. Here's this thing that I want to do. Like I'm gonna get a different job which pays better because paralegaling pays nothing, and I'm gonna pursue wrestling. And they were like, okay. But every few months they'll be like, so how's it all going? Are you going to go back to law? And I'm just like, nah, like, no, I'm not. And I think the moment they kind of started to see that it was worth doing was when it was sort of like, I started going to different places and getting paid for it and like actually bringing money back and being like, here, mum, here's a little for like the shop this week. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, and then as I started taking over more stuff in the house, like paying bills and so on and so forth, like the only bill I didn't pay was the mortgage, but I was able to, with wrestling and my normal job, like actually look after the house and stuff.
That's amazing.
Which Yeah, which I didn't appreciate at the time for being like a important thing. I was just like, it just seems like the thing to do because like they did it and stuff like that. So that conversation, I guess I answered both questions, but that conversation went pretty well because what more could they tell me? Like I was working in law, I'd done everything. And I say it's coming off the path, but I'm old enough and like smart enough to know the risks of doing so.
Yeah.
And that's where like even now, man, I've got like if not you or the restings guys, I don't think I would do any more podcast or interviews because like the anxiety is kicking my ass. I've reduced my hours at work, gone part-time to try and pursue wrestling even more. And so I'm just sitting there like, it's literally, if I don't wrestle, I struggle to pay my bills. And that's the position I put myself in because it means I'm not going to be lazy, you know? So the conversation was a tough one. Then when I had the conversation about reducing my hours and going part-time and so on and so forth, like my wife was really supportive. And then my family were like, whatever you need, we'll help you with. And my dad was just like, good, it's about goddamn time. And I was like, you were telling me not to do it before. What do you mean? He was just like, at least this way, you know, if you fully apply yourself and if it works, then it works. And if it doesn't, you've tried and you have nothing to be ashamed of. And I was like, fair enough, we ain't wrong. So that's where we're at the minute, man. Like it's anxious times, but also it's both anxious and exciting depending on your point of view on it. But yeah.
Bruv, I respect the grind completely. Like, even like you said at the top of the interview, you know, you were doing, you know, Uber Eats as well to balance it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It gets like that. It honestly does get like that, especially when you're pursuing a dream. And generally, I think I've seen this as well amongst, you know, my parents and other households as well. The minute you have done, you've clocked up those accolades, you've went to school, you're a married man, like the heart softens. They're still not going to want to hear that you're doing something like, you know, that's not to the norm. So to speak, but it's like, well, he has done everything else. He's displayed he's a responsible person because he's able to, you know, draw money from what he's doing, pay bills, etc., etc. So it's like, okay, then fair enough. But of course, like you said, the anxiety comes with it. Where we've just had a pandemic as well, and that's kind of shut things off. I guess things like, you know, injuries would worry the hell out of you then, right?
Yeah, and that's what happened when so I did the Progress last set of tapings. I tore my tricep and also a tendon in my elbow. So yeah, which was really I was only able to like open doors about 4 weeks ago. So all I've been doing is just taking painkillers, putting deep heat, strapping the arm, and just continuing to wrestle because I kind of have to.
Yeah.
You know, so I was just there like, oh man, but what if it's my knee? What if it's something I can't work through? But like, what if I can't not do stuff because of what if? Like, I feel that you have to take a risk. So, but it does worry me. But I also feel like I wrestle a safe enough style that hopefully something like that won't happen. But at the same time, whenever anyone does get done it with injuries, it's never anything cool, bro. It's never the 630 that does you. It's the baseball slide.
It's something easy.
It's hopping down from the apron and landing funny. It's something weird like that. It's just like that. Do your Achilles doing a forward roll or some weirdness? Like that's how it goes.
Yeah, that seems to be like fate. It's just one of those things. Like
like you're gonna get injured,
and it won't be the spot that everyone, you know, gasps for. It will just be something that probably people didn't even see happen.
You know what I mean? It's like I was like one-winged angel through the table. It's like, nah, man. When I hopped off the second after celebrating, my knee just went. It's just like, it's weird stuff like that. Like,
madness. Have your parents ever come and seen you wrestle?
Yeah, man. Yeah, they've had so again, when you say the heart softens, I think that was one of the moments like where they saw me win like a championship, and then my dad was just like, "Oh, I'm proud of you," and I was like, oh, "I haven't had that in like, you know how Nigerian dads are, innit, bro? They're just like, you know what I mean? You achieve something, and they're just like, good. Why didn't you do it sooner? And you're just like, can I get something from you, please?
Nail on their heads.
Just a crumb, just a little sprinkle of affection, you know. But like, he gave me a hug and he was like, I'm proud of you. And I was just like, excuse me. You know what I mean?
The day when I got married, my dad's speech, he said that, you know, he's a role model to the family and stuff like that. And that's like the first time in my life I've heard anything that was not nearly broke me on that day. Not my wife walking down the aisle or anything like that. Like, because I was thinking, yeah, we generally as Nigerian kids, African kids, we don't get this kind of affection. It's very much kind of with love, you know. It's we want you to succeed and do this and the other. But yeah, it's good to see that, you know, it's very much an accepted thing for you now, that family are comfortable with it. You got your support from wifey as well, which is always good.